Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ignite Season 2, Episode 4. This is Dr. Shali Genga, and the theme of this season is Living Fearlessly. And today I have one of the most exciting guests that I think I have had the opportunity to talk to. And I hope that when we listen to her and see how she has chosen to live fearlessly, and a lot of times that means living against the grain and going against maybe ideologies that people have always had. I hope that we will all be inspired also to live fearlessly. I'll allow her to introduce herself.
Okay, thank you for the invitation. My name's Joyce Nduku, and popularly known as Tata the Marathon Granny or Tata the Legend. The reason why in the running circles I'm referred, or a lot of people who know me Tata, is because when I started running about 20 years ago, I was running amongst the young people and they were not able to address me by my maiden name. So one of the runners at least decided to give me a name, Tata. And Tata in Teso means a grandma. So they started referring me Tata, the Marathon Granny. So that's how I got the name Tata. And I'm almost losing my name because now it has become a brand name. So I'm referred as Tata, the Marathon Granny, or Tata, the Legend.
And how old are you now and how long have you been running?
Well, I have been running for the last more than 20 years now. And I started running at the age of 50. And the reason why I started running at the age of 50, I had a knee scare for arthritis. And because I was working at Cambridge, and I thought at least if I contracted arthritis at the age of 50, it's going to be a big problem for me. I may not be able to walk or to do a lot of my chores after I retire. So I chose at least to start running. And yes, and now I'll be approaching 71 years old in the next less than 5 weeks or 6 weeks, I'll be 71 years old.
And how had the arthritis started affecting your life back then?
Well, actually, it was a painful knee. It was a painful knee. I was not able to squat, and I had difficulty walking downstairs. And so I thought at least if I had contract arthritis, of course, at least I had some medical friend. Yeah, I wasn't diagnosed, but that fear pushed me. That fear pushed me to running because I knew very well if I have a painful knee and I'm not able to squat, I'm not able to walk downstairs, it could be an arthritis scare. And I know how painful is it to deal with it at my later years. So that's what pushed me to running.
And out of everything, why running? Because a lot of people, when they are diagnosed, for example, with arthritis, running is not the first option. And also traditionally, it's not the norm to see someone starting to run, especially in our Kenyan culture. It's not the norm to see someone starting to run at the age of 50. And would you call yourself, I don't want to say a rebel, but what made you, because you have to have some moxie, you have to have some guts to be like, I'm going to do running. I have arthritis. Was it a doctor who told you, or you're like, did you hear someone? Why running?
Well, I chose running because actually running is one of the simplest activity that anyone can do, and they can do it anywhere. Because by then I was working at Cambridge and we were working in the field. At least my work actually, working as a nutrition field work involved me traveling and working in the field, assisting scientists by collecting data, both masters and PhD. And so it's one of the simplest exercise that does not even need much. The investment is actually very minimal, unlike other sports. And like other sports that needs you have to do it with a partner.
Oh, even a coach sometimes.
Even a coach, but at least with running, you just wake up in the morning and you put on your running gear and you can do an hour, come back and have a shower or have your breakfast and off you go to the office. That is how I chose running because we were working in the field and it was so easy for me. And I knew very well the investment is it's
a good investment.
It's in terms of resources, at least by that time when I started, I knew the resources. It's almost zero because it is only running shoes that I needed.
True, yeah.
That's why I chose running. It is so convenient. And again, running is so therapeutic. It's so therapeutic. Running outside, interacting with nature, is so therapeutic than I'm sorry, being in the gym and jumping and looking at the 4 concrete walls at least. So I chose at least to connect with nature at least, and it's so therapeutic at least to run, and it's so addictive. If people know what they miss if they don't run. Yes.
And like when you said running, did you ever imagine that you'd be doing marathons, or was it just for health purposes? Were you like, I'm just gonna, did the doctor tell you that maybe you shouldn't do too much of this, or why you just do? Okay, you said that you did it because it was an easy option for exercise, but did you ever imagine that you'd be doing marathons or ultra marathons?
Actually, I never thought I would, this running, I would take it too far the way I have done it over the last 20 years. When I started, as I've said, it was a joke. I mean, it was for me, it was easy, and I could run. Actually, the first day I hit the road, at least I was, I did 2 kilometers, and I'm telling you, I was so unfit because my breathing was so bad. At least I felt my chest smelling blood. At least I was.
No, but
so I was so unfit.
But even doing 2 kilometers the first time you ran, that's an accomplishment.
It was a joke. But actually, I ran from Nairobi West roundabout to the Nyayo Stadium because by then I used to live around Nairobi West, or to run from my house to the Tuskys Timor, and I couldn't. It was so difficult for me to venture into it. But I knew very well if I got arthritis, yes, after retirement, it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be so bad for me. So I sort of at least hung on there at least, and I said I have to do it because I know the health benefits. Yes, and I've seen at least quite a number of people who are immobilized.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And what was your family's reaction? Like, what did your sons think, or your friends? Because like you're saying, I'm taking up running at 50. Everyone is like, what was the reaction? Yeah?
Well, when I picked up running, at least, yes, the first time, at least I did it for a week. I had asked my son at least to help me, at least to get onto the road, at least. And my son at least was, Mom, this is too much. I tried to plead with him at least and told him I'll buy him a credit for 250 by then. That was 204.
That was a lot of money.
Yeah, that was a lot of money. And then he took me to he joined me to the road for 2 days, and he told me, no, sorry, Mom, you have to be on your own. But then I continued. But when my friends, I was working at Cambry, and I was working a bit amongst my friends, of course, my age mates. They told me, everybody discouraged me, and they told me, you know what, you cannot run at 50. You're going to collapse and die. And I told them, well, even without running, how many people have died who have not been running? So, I chose, I told them, death is inevitable.
That's true.
Death is inevitable, but if I can reduce my chances of lifestyle diseases, I would rather chose the running than to fear that the death, which I don't know when it will come. Yeah.
And what was your first marathon? What was the experience like, and which year was this?
Yeah. So when I started running sometimes in 204, and then around after running for a few months, maybe 5 months or something, I heard about Standard Chartered Marathon, which was in the second edition because Standard Chartered Marathon had started in 203, and this was in 204. So around August, I heard about the Standard Chartered Marathon, and then I chose. At least I said, why can't I go and run at the Standard Chartered Marathon? Because by then there were not many races, at least like they are today. But so I chose at least to go and run on my first Standard Chartered Marathon, and I chose to do 21. And that is when people found me crazy, because at least they thought at least
you do 10 maybe, but 21.
No,
that's
I said at least
a commitment.
let me start at least. Let me challenge my body. Yes, let me challenge my body and look whether I can be able to do 21. And that's how I registered in 2004, and I ran 2 hours 30 minutes. And
that's a good pace. That's actually that's actually a really good pace.
I was so impressed, because I ran on a heavily bandaged knee. And by then at least we used to finish at KICC, and I used to live in Nairobi West. So after running the 21 kilometers, I just removed the creep bandage, left it at KICC, and then I decided to walk home in Nairobi West. And that became my genesis for running. Because after that, the peace I got in my body, it is peace that I could not be able to explain to anyone. The peace that I got after finishing, I felt this is what I want to do. And since 2004, I have never looked back. This is 21. It's going to be 21 years ago.
What are the benefits that you've seen, like comparing your body now compared to how you are when you are like maybe even younger? Tati, how would you?
Well, at least in my family, I come from a family of obese. My parents, my dad and my mom. They had a lot of weight, at least, and my siblings, all of them actually are sort of
overweight.
Yes, even if they don't like it, they are overweight. Yes, looking at my parents, and I decided at least I wasn't that overweight, but over the years, at least, yes, of course, I have weighed at least the most I think I have ever weighed was 67 at least, but currently I weigh 58.5, 59. That is I'm below 60 at least currently.
Okay.
But
Do you feel lighter? Do you feel younger? What have been the benefits of running in the last 20 years?
The benefits of running are immense. You feel energized. You feel, you are mentally fit. The benefits of running actually, how I benefited from running, at least you remain mentally fit, spiritually fit, emotionally fit, and physically fit. All those, at least, you can be able to enjoy, at least, even at my later years, at least the way people battle with the mental, at least, forgetting,
memory loss.
Memory loss, at least, yes. At
Dementia,
memory loss, at least, sometimes you keep something and you don't know if you move it from where you have kept it, if you car keys or something, or if you move your handbag or something, or my earrings, and I put it elsewhere. The next time I want to wear, maybe actually running has helped me so much, at least, and in terms of memory, at least I should say I'm mentally alert, at least for my age, at least, and it keeps me in balance, at least. Even if I forget something, at least when I go to sleep, actually, I will sort of remember that I didn't call Shirley, I didn't call so and so. And
that's like most of us. That's the general.
So the benefits of running, yes, definitely, yes. And this is what I tell the young people: if you pick up running at a young age, because I picked it up late, definitely you'll be the benefits. You'll be emotionally fit. You'll be mentally fit. You'll remain spiritually fit, emotionally fit. And the calamities of today, the way people are living under a lot of stress, it is going to help them so much. At least. And the investment is fairly, at least if you are not going to be involved in the international races, of course, at least you will grow up and you would like to at least to run the international races. But at least if you
do the local ones, that's at least a good step. What are the most memorable marathons that you've done so far? Like if you can count, like I know all of them have good memories, but which ones are the most memorable for you?
I've really run in this country. So many have been. Yes. When we started running 20 years ago, people did not have the concept that ladies can wake up in the morning and can put tights, because I remember very well when we used to run, at least in Nairobi, at least, and the runs would take us to informal settlement. We were really called names, and we had to run in a group. We could only run in a group because wearing tights, people will call you names at least, and why are you running? Even the big people, toa hiyo matako hapo, wewe wezi ukakimbia. We were called all kinds of names. For people to accept it today, where recreational running has brought this country, at least when we started, it was not easy. It was not acceptable in many families, at least even the colleagues of even at workplaces, because I remember there is a lawyer that at least we've been running with him, and actually when he started running, his colleagues, the League of Fraternity, they walimwambia unatuweka aibu. Yeah, people did not see the concept. Didn't see the concept. So walikuwa anamwambia wewe unatuweka aibu, why are you running? And so and so the races over the period of time, of course, apart from the local races, I've been involved in international races, at least.
Which ones have you done? I think you did Chicago Marathon.
Well, after I started running in Standard Chartered Marathon, I ran for 3 years, which was 2004, 2005, 6, and 7. And so in 2008, I decided to venture into the World Marathon Majors. I decided at least now I want to swim at the deep end. Yes, I want to swim at the deep end. And
how old were you then when you were like, let me challenge myself?
I was 54 years when I said, let me challenge myself and run, because I have family and friends who live in the US, and they had heard that I'm running. And so they asked me, why can't you come and run the Chicago Marathon? And so I told them, okay, let me get myself at least organized and train and see whether I can be able to come.
At that time, were you running, like you started at 50, by 54 you were doing full marathon?
I started at 53. My first full marathon was 207. So yes,
3 years?
Yeah, 3 years. After running for 3 years, I decided to swim at the deep end, and then I went to try running a full marathon in Standard Chartered Marathon, which was in 203. 203. No, sorry.
204?
No, 207.
Yeah.
207, sorry. Then I ran for 5 hours at the Standard Chartered. In fact, the roads were open and the stragglers bus came, at least, because at least, And then I told them, because I was almost South Sea, I was about 3 kilometers or 2.5 to the stadium. I told them I will not get into the stragglers bus. So I will just run on the side. I ran and finished 5 hours, 7 minutes.
The stragglers bus is for people who they're like, you won't finish,
You won't finish. The stragglers bus, it's for the people who are struggling and they won't finish, or they want to open the roads. At some time, the road closure has to be opened. So the bus at least is usually behind the last runners, batch of runners. And they would be asked, would you get into the stragglers bus because we are going to open the road, or would you run on the side? So yes, if you choose to run on the side, they will leave you to even international races, at least. The stragglers bus is always there.
Why did you decide not to enter the stragglers bus?
I decided because I was at kilometer 39.
Okay, that's close.
That was
that's
too
like
close.
3 more
kilometers. I decided, let me just finish this marathon.
Were you alone, or were there other people who were also
we were very few, actually. We were less than, actually the road at least must have even less than, I think, 10 people or something. At least we were very few, because in 208, that 207, not many people were running. In fact, I remember at least when we ran, we were almost 4 ladies, or less than 10 ladies who were running as recreational runners. The rest were elite runners. Because because
the concept hadn't gotten into the concept of the recreational running.
So at least we were very few, at least, and I said, let me just hang on there and see, and I ran. So the following year, after my friends, they were so excited after they saw, she ran a full marathon. We can tell her to come at least and Jaribu in the US, at least and run Standard Chartered Marathon, and we'll be there for her at least to see that at least she does it.
How was the experience running in Chicago?
Oh, the Chicago, at least Chicago Marathon is one of the biggest marathon in the world, at least as you know, and like currently is the race that has a world record holder from Kevin Kiptum. By then, at least in 2008, of course, there were over 45,000 runners. And you arrive there. And the previous year, in 2008, when I arrived, it's my second full marathon. When I went to pick up my running kit, I'm telling you, I was so scared because it was so hot. And the previous year in
was it summer?
It's usually in October, but the weather is so erratic sometimes in Chicago. The previous year in 2008, the marathon was cancelled because a runner collapsed and died because of a heat wave.
Okay.
Because of a heat wave. So I arrive in there and it is so hot. And I tell my friends and family, I cannot go and run. I can't die in a foreign land.
42 kilometers.
42 kilometers. If this is the weather, please, I'm not going to run. So they had to convince me. They had to cancel me. They had start canceling me and tell me, no, you cannot come here and you do not run. Please, we shall make sure that at least you are well hydrated at least. I told them I cannot because somebody died the previous year and it was cancelled. They had to stop it. Yeah, the marathon was stopped. Just like the way when Boston was bombed, the way it was stopped.
Yeah.
Chicago was stopped in 2007 because of the heat wave.
Okay,
so then. I said that, and I was so scared because it was my second full marathon. So they cancelled me. They took me home. They hydrated me. They talked to me. I told them, okay, let me go and try in the morning. Then they dropped me. And you are going to run in a sea of humanities. 45,000 runners. So you are there at the start line. Of course, the Kenyans, we know. The Kenyans are always there at the start line of, but of course, these are elite runners. And and I said at least, okay, let me see.
And I think I read somewhere that you were able to improve from 5 hours, I think 20 minutes.
I dropped a whole hour because the Standard Chartered, I ran 5:07. When I went to Chicago, I ran 4:07. I improved a whole hour. I shed off a whole hour.
Even improving by 5 minutes is usually so hard.
Yeah, but remember, Kenya training in Nairobi, it is high altitude. It is high altitude, and yes, and I mean the weather is good at least in Nairobi. And you are training at high altitude. When you go to Chicago, at least, unless the weather is so erratic, because Chicago, the weather is so erratic, it can be rainy, it can be hot, it can be, it's a windy city.
Okay.
It's a windy city, so the weather in 2008 wasn't that bad. So I shed off, at least I pushed myself, and
it was a good race.
And now, yes, and now I opened up doors for people to run recreational run, to register in full marathon. After I went and ran Chicago Marathon, the people that at least I was training with, they were shocked. They woke up and said, "Oh, Tata, she has finished 42. We have to go and run Standard Chartered Marathon." And so that is the acceptance of how a lot of recreational runners now ventured into full marathon running.
Yeah, I know that a lot of clubs now, they even do like the different marathons globally. Yeah?
Yes.
And you guys were like the pioneers of that.
We were the pioneers actually. Because I remember the first person who had run a world marathon major, whom I knew, must have been Carol Ngeri.
And that was recreational.
Yeah, recreational running. I've been in the recreational circles, at least was Carol Ngeri. And so, we became pioneers of
global running.
Global running, yes.
When did you cross over into ultra marathon? Because now that's another challenge and a half.
Yeah. So, well, after I ran Chicago Marathon, it was a wake-up call for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody said, at 54, she's able to run.
Yeah.
Now we are going to venture into it. And a lot of people now got into full marathon running. And I ran in 20. That was in 2008. I came back 2009. I ran a 42. 2010, and then to 2009, my friends had left, my colleagues or my friends at least had discovered a race in South Africa called the Two Oceans.
Uh-huh.
The Two Oceans. And the Two Oceans is believed to be the most beautiful run in the world, at least because it is run on the two oceans. At least you are able to see the two oceans. And so some people went to run it in 2009. And when they went, it was such a beautiful race. They came back and they told, you have to, this is a beautiful race. And then 2010, I was turning 56. And so they asked me, this run, it is 56 kilometers. It's the beautiful run in the world. You will never be 56 again. So we want you to run this 56 at 56.
56 kilometers at the age of 56.
For my birthday, yes. Yeah. They told me, go and run this 56. And it was the best reward that I ever did for myself. I said, okay. At first, I refused. It was difficult because at least, yes, this is another 14 kilometers more.
On top of the 42.
On top of the 42. Yeah. And this was I just ran, I think, 3 full marathons, 2007, 2008, 2009. So now in 2010, because it's usually run around April during Easter holidays. So they convinced me, and so I picked up myself and said, let me start training for it and see how it's going to unfold. And there I was, at least I trained, of course, and Kenyans here, people train at least here. And those days, we did not even have these gadgets. We didn't have Garmin watches. We didn't have coaches, at least. The coaches are for the elite running. At least you could just go and pick up a shoe and see if ikiisha kidogo. And then by then, at least we used to go to Kigomba and buy second-hand shoes, at least, because we used to buy second-hand shoe. And if the shoe is ikiisha, hata ujui, aba ugonda kiatu moja.
We didn't even know there were special shoes for running.
Yeah, there are different shoes for running. There are trail shoes. There are racers. There are training shoes, at least, yes.
So you were training yourself, basically?
Yeah, definitely we were training myself. Yes, I was training myself. I used to train myself here at Barbareta.
How many kilometers did you used to do? Like for the 56 kilometers?
For the 56 kilometers, at least, when you start training for the ultras, is the most, you are facing out from 42. You had to run 20 kilometers a day, 20 for 3 weeks, so that the body can adjust.
20 every day.
And I'm telling you, it was the most painful for 3 weeks, so that at least I can adjust.
Monday to Sunday, or was there a day off?
Of course, there's a day off. Yeah. But I'm telling you, every day I ran at least for a week or 2 weeks. The body everywhere, it is paining. I have to wake up the following day. And by then, at least, we didn't know about massage. Yes, the
physiotherapy.
The sports massage. Yes, we didn't know about it. It was so difficult. But after 2 weeks, my body actually adjusted completely, and the pain went. And off, I started now training for the 56 kilometers at least. And and you have to do several 20s at least. And yes, I was advised, I have to do several 20s, so that, because it's about endurance. So you have to wake up, do a 20. Tomorrow you wake up, do a 20, so that at least the body can adjust it. Yes.
And most people think that when you run and your body, you feel pain, you should stop.
No, that is the mistake, because people do, because I mean, there is nothing that painful that which does not have gains. And
Yeah, okay. That's the lesson of being an adult, is that everything worth having is hard.
Yeah.
It comes with some sacrifices,
Yeah,
some
it
pain.
comes,
Yeah.
it has to come with pain at least. The benefits of yes, they have to come with pain at least, and comfortable at least. Yes, even leaving your bed at 5 o'clock in the morning to go and run
20K. How do you even do work after running 20K in the morning?
So you at least I would do at least I would do I would do 20K, and then at least I go back to the house at least, and because I would do, actually, I was doing 10 in the morning and 10 in the evening. I would split it up.
Okay, into
so
two.
that at least I
That's
can,
manageable.
yes. Yeah, that was manageable at least, because I mean, it was too much to take them once. So I would come to Arboretum at least. I ran around the rice at least, and in the evening I would come to Arboretum and run in Arboretum. Yeah.
Did people think you were crazy?
People thought, let me tell you, people thought at least I lost quite a number of friends. At least I lost my peers at least, because at least when I started running, and I took a lot of my friends at least. Yes, when you start lifestyle change, you shed a lot of people. Yes, because they are baggage in your life.
Yeah.
They are baggage, because they drive you. Let's go here and eat here. Let's go and drink here. A Friday we need to go out, and Fridays at least, because Saturday you have a long run.
Yeah.
Saturday you have a long run, and so you cannot be able to go out on Fridays. So I had some girlfriends at least we used to hang out with, my peers at least, yes. And I told them, you know what? Fridays, I cannot join you because I have to go to run on Saturdays. And so they came, we tried, at least I tried them at least here at Arboretum. Now, some of them are now realizing, now, in fact, I'm taking somebody to Kilimanjaro for the first time. Now, and she's in 60.
She's 60, she's going to do the Kilimanjaro.
No, she's going to walk 21 kilometers.
Okay.
And somebody else, at least some of my friends. But when you start lifestyle change, you lose all your friends, but you gain better friends. You gain. I have lost. I lost memorable moments with my friends at least, and yes, and I lost a lot of friends, women friends. But I have gained over the years. I have gained. But I call people better friends at least, yes. Whom at least we saw journey together, the lifestyle change.
Do you have anyone in your age groups who are running with you, or are your friends younger?
Mostly, at least all the women that I ran in this country, I don't think there can be somebody who is
running at your level.
Yes, there is another lady who is running, at least an old grandma who lives in Kikuyu called Caro, and she's fairly younger than, she's younger than me. But a lot of the people that are, especially women at least, they are younger than me. Was
it painful to lose your friends, or were you just set on your goal?
No, I was set up on my goal, because running, it's the peace that you get after running. It's something that at least you cannot explain to people unless you talk it to your peer runners. Then they will understand. But if you don't run, the moment they feel uncomfortable, the following day they wake up in pain. Instead of going for a recovery run, instead of doing, because maybe they ran with the wrong shoe, or the threshold of lactic acid or something, they
don't come back.
They don't come back. So
that's the cost.
Yes, that is the cost.
Of going against the grain.
Yeah, but at least I have friends. At least I have met in running circles. Yes. Yeah.
And so the ultra run, how is the ultra run? The 56 kilometers.
Well, the 56 kilometers run, at least in South Africa. South Africans actually are better in terms of recreational runners than Kenya. Kenya is a powerhouse when it comes to elite running, but at least it's not when it comes to recreational running. We are struggling, but I thank God, at least, yes. My dream was to see that we create a country of recreational, both elite running and recreational running. And we are realizing the dream that at least, yes, we used to
dream about it.
Dream about it at least that can we push more people to recreational running? Because at least, yes, and that 56 kilometers has 6 cut-off times. You cannot, it is not run by every Dick and Harry at least, yeah. You cannot go.
Do you run throughout or do you sleep? Or is there a point where everybody sleeps?
No.
You run for 56 kilometers non-stop.
You run for 56 kilometers non-stop. And it has cut-off time. So if you have not made it for example, 10 kilometers or 7 kilometers in this certain time,
you're cut off.
You are cut off at least, and they put you in the bus. Then at least they go to the second. Otherwise, you run the whole day, and the roads have to be open. And yes, you will have to hold everybody. And the race organizers have to account for every runner. So it has to have cut-off time. And the cut-off for 56 is 7 hours. Everybody has to run it within 7 hours.
Were you able to do that?
Oh, yes, I went and ran. I was the most beautiful, at least running at the sea level. Oh, my goodness, in South Africa. Coming from Kenya at high altitude, and you're going to run in South Africa at sea level, at least, where there's plenty of oxygen. I ran 5 hours, 35 minutes.
So you made it even before other people.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I was in at least, yes. I was in 5 hours, 35, while the cutoff was
7 hours.
Was 7 hours. And well, after I did the 56, I said, okay, the race organizers, there are usually people in South Africa. A lot of other races, they hang around to convince people to sign up for other
marathons.
Races.
Yeah.
But I said at that time, after finishing, I don't think I will ever. I don't think, even though it is beautiful, it's nice and whatever, I don't think I will, because the next one they were signing up was 80 kilometers. I said, I'm not sure whether I can do 80 kilometers. So that was in 2010. I came home and celebrated my birthday, 56 and 56 and 5:35.
That's
it's
very
so
impressive,
historic for me.
No, it's very impressive.
It was so historic for me. So I came 2010. Then 2011, of course, I continued running the full marathon, 2012, until 2018. 2018, I decided to run the Comrades. And
Ooh, how many kilometers is that?
Comrades is 90 kilometers and is one of the hardest run.
How old were you then?
I was 64.
So at 64, you are doing the Comrades Marathon for the first time?
For the first time.
80 kilometers.
I decided at least I wanted, I wanted to run for a charity. I said at least for me to run Comrades. First and foremost, my friends had also discovered, a year earlier, they had discovered Comrades. Okay. So they came and told me, there is this run in South Africa, which is so beautiful. And because you are a resilient runner, we would like you to go and run this run. So somehow I bought in the idea. I bought in the idea, and that was 2018. 2018, and the cutoff time, it is 12 hours. You have to run it within 12 hours. The 90 kilometers. Sleep. There's nothing like sleep. When the gun goes, at least at 5 in
the morning.
In the morning, 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock in the evening, the gun goes. And yes, you have to have surpassed the other 5, the other 6 cut-off times in between. So that at least by 12 hours, you have to cross the finish line. That is a real challenge. And I asked myself, are you ready for this challenge? To train for this challenge? I said, okay, let me see whether I can be able to run it. So 2018, I registered for the Comrades. And I went to South Africa. And I ran for 10 hours, 25 minutes of non-stop of running. And this run is run from Pietermaritzburg. It was a down run to Durban. The run at 70 kilometers. It's a sloppy. You are seeing Durban. You are seeing Durban there at 70 kilometers. I lost 5 nails because of the pressure from the quads. Because you are running downwards. You are running
Nails, your
downwards.
toenails or your
Toenails, yeah. You lose. You don't go and run Comrades. Very few people.
Okay, I don't think I'm going to do it. I thought I could.
No, very few people run Comrades and they don't lose nails. And especially the downhill. And it takes toll on people, the quads. You are able to see the following day or in the stadium, people cannot walk downstairs immediately after they run. They sort of walk like they have come from circumcision.
Like a penguin. Okay.
They have been circumcised. Yeah.
And you were able to do it?
I went, ran it, and I said, okay. I finished it. The following year, 2019, because it is a down run, and the following year it is an up run. And so it's called back to back, and you get an up medal. If you run it down run and up run, you get another medal. It's a back to back. So I said, okay, I have to go for the back to back medal, which is a run from Durban to Pietermaritzburg, and it is uphill.
Did you do that?
It is 87 kilometers, the uphill.
Did you do that?
I did in 2019. I had to go back.
How many kilometers?
It was 87.
To your time?
Well, it was now 10 hours 57, from 10:25 to 10:57.
Oh, but now it's up.
Because it is up. And that is the uphill you walk.
And this time you were 65 when you're doing it.
I was 65. And so when I decided to do the back-to-back, I said I cannot run purely for a medal. I have to run for charity. I can't do the Comrades at least. I cannot
do it. I cannot. There's no greater purpose.
Subject my body to run for 12 hours for just for a coveted medal. I would have to do it for something.
So now you specifically do like ultra marathons for charity.
Yes, I picked up a charity called Shoe for Africa Children's Hospital, and I decided at least I want to run because Kenya does not have a public children's hospital. This country, it's only a Gertrude, which is the private, at least. And what we have in hospitals is just a purely a ward, a children's ward.
But not a specific
We do not have a public children's hospital. And so somebody called Toby Tanza, who is the director for Shoe for Africa, decided to, some years back, he's been running and collected money from runners, and and he has put up a hospital in Eldoret called Shoe for Africa Children's Hospital. So I decided at least let me run for a worthy cause. And so I decided now to run for Shoe for Africa Children's Hospital. And remember, I do not have even a sponsor. It's me. I'm collecting funds from my fellow runners. Yes, at least I decided, okay, let me ask my fellow runners, why can't you come in? I've organized some runs. And they came in, runners, and we started collecting funds. And when I was just about to go, Coca-Cola heard about somebody.
They heard about what you were doing.
Yes, somebody at least I was running with, and heard about my running. At least I'm going to challenge my body at 65 to run for Shoe for Africa Children's Hospital. So they decided, they said, okay. Even though Coca-Cola does not actually support running because they are more in entertainment, so they do football. So they decided at least, yes, and most of the products that at least they have Coca-Cola is, it's not consumed by runners. So, yes, but they have Kerrigate water. So they said, okay, just let us bring up a proposal. Let us listen to a proposal. So I sent somebody. They went and talked, and somehow they bought in the idea and said, okay, let's see what we can be able to do. We can be able to hydrate ourselves. We can hydrate her during the training, and maybe during the runs at least. And she can become our Kerrigate brand ambassador. So, the Coca-Cola came in at least, and they sponsored at least, they sponsored about 300,000 at least, and they refunded me my ticket for South Africa at least, and
Which other sponsors have you worked with?
I have never worked with any other sponsor. I've only worked with
Coca-Cola.
With Coca-Cola, at least they came in for me and they supported
your vision.
My vision, and then of course now I went and ran, and because I had collected, actually I was targeting to collect 2 million, either one between 1 and 2 million to run the Comrades, and So after I ran the Comrades, I had collected about 600,000. So I decided at least I'm going to up the game at least and go to New York Marathon. And that was my second major marathon after 12 years, because remember I had done in 2008 and this is 2019 now. So I decided to go and to run New York Marathon. And because Toby Tanza is one of the race directors for New York Marathon, so I asked him to give me a slot at least for me to fundraise for the New York, for the Shoe for Africa.
How much were you able to raise?
Yes, well, in total, I raised 400 plus the 600. I raised 1 million Kenya shillings for the Shoe for Africa, at least individually, at least said. Yes, and
that's a huge accomplishment.
This is for an old woman like me. I said okay, and so people, a lot of people actually they said okay now yes, and so, I said at least I tell myself every day that I wake up, at least at my age, I cannot run for a coveted medal. Every drip of my sweat that drips out of my face while I run, it has to go for a worthy cause. It's never wasted. Whether I train it today, the sweat, the drips of sweat, yes.
So every marathon you do, from what age did you decide that every marathon you'll be doing will be for a worthy cause?
Yes, well, yes, I ran.
At which age was it?
No, even for my 60th birthday.
Oh, you're like, now you'll be doing for...
No, even 60th birthday, there is a story, you must have read it, about a child that was born with... with a rectal malformation, which I ran for my 60th birthday. Then at least for Boston Marathon, I ran for a student who had been admitted to the East Africa University as a public student, and she was not able to raise fees. So she was there for 7 years. So she dropped off the university at the 4th year, and so I took her by Boston Marathon, and I raised money for her. And she completed the university after 7 years, and there today she's a teacher. She's waiting to be employed by a TSC.
No, you've done a lot, and you continue to do a lot. I know now you are retired. What marathon are you training for in 2024?
2024, I'm training for
2025, sorry.
2025, I'm training for Kilimanjaro in the next few weeks.
In the next
few weeks, and I'm training and assuming at least I'm trying to ballot. I'm trying to get to check whether I can get the 3 remaining ones, which is Tokyo, Berlin, and London. But they are difficult to get, at least because I've been balloting and I didn't get. But they usually have another easier way for the 3-star. For the people who have run the previously, they get a leeway to. They consider them at least, and they say okay. Bring in your names, at least those who have run 3-star, so that at least we can help you to see whether you can complete the other one. So I'm waiting to see whether London,
you can get London,
London and Berlin and Tokyo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And in closing, what would you tell people who maybe are scared of getting into running? Some people think maybe they are too old, or maybe they've never run. What would be your advice in closing?
I will advise at least everybody, if I can be able to run at my age, everyone else can be able to run at our age. And I salute even the former First Lady, Margaret Kenyatta. She ran London Marathon and she trained for it. And if the First Lady can be able to and she ran at 50 at least, and she got time even to train. So it is so simple at least, and yes, I ask a lot of people to take up exercise, and you don't have to run, you can walk. The menace that we have in this country about border, which has already gotten into our villages, it's causing a lot of harm to a lot of people. And 80% of our bed occupancy in our hospitals today, it is lifestyle diseases. And these are being cost. Some of them, at least, they are being aided by
lack of activity.
By lack of activity and taking a border, even to the smallest distance that at least anybody can walk. You go home up country and you get, everybody has 5 numbers for a border. The border picks you from there. It takes you to the market, brings you to the market. Before, people up country, they used to take their wares and they used to walk to the market and buy and come back. You cannot see even that norm up country anymore. And it's going to be, it's a big problem at least.
Okay, so advice is that people, no matter what age you are, you're never too old to try something new. You're never too old to try something that maybe even you think you're not able to. And I think an important lesson from just talking with you is that even if it's hard, it doesn't mean that it's not for you. Keep pushing and keep trying. I hope that you've been inspired by today's episode. I've been inspired. One of my goals now is to do the Comrades Marathon. Let's see how the year goes. Thank you so much.